What if I told you that cutting her off isn't the power move you think it is? Most men believe that going silent will shake her, that your absence will echo in her chest and make her regret everything.
But the truth is harder than that.
Most women expect silence. They've seen it before, and many of them are already prepared for it. No contact might stop the noise in your life, but it doesn't automatically break her ego, and it doesn't flip the power the way you think it does. You're here because you gave everything. You were loyal, you were present, and you invested your time, your energy, and your attention. And when she walked away, she didn't just leave you alone. She left you questioning your value. But understand this clearly. That feeling is not just pain. It's awareness. It's the moment you start seeing things without illusion. This isn't about revenge, and it's not about getting her back. It's about becoming a man whose silence carries weight, not emptiness. It's about going deeper than no contact and rebuilding your mind, your discipline, and your identity. This is Stoic Masculinity, and this is where you learn how to dismantle her ego without saying a word. You have to start by destroying the illusion you built in your own mind. The truth is, you're not grieving her. You're grieving the version of her you created. The image you held on to, the idea that she was perfect, the belief that she was different. But that version existed mostly in your head. It was built from your hope, your loyalty, your desire to believe that someone finally understood you. When you step back and look at her actions, the truth becomes clearer. If she left without clarity, if she played with your emotions, if she moved on while you were still healing, then what you experienced wasn't love in the way you imagined. It was inconsistency fueled by ego. Every time you replay old memories or reread messages, you keep feeding that illusion. You keep placing her above, where she truly belongs. A stoic man doesn't live in imagination. He lives in reality. And reality requires you to let go of the image you were attached to. Because she wasn't your destiny. She was your lesson. And that lesson is simple but powerful. Stop loving potential. Stop excusing behavior that disrespects you. And start valuing yourself more than your attachment. From there, you must go beyond basic no contact and become truly unreachable. Anyone can disappear physically. Anyone can block a number or stop replying, but that alone doesn't create power. Real power comes from emotional detachment. Being unreachable means she no longer has access to your reactions, your feelings, or your thoughts. It means you don't post things hoping she sees them, you don't send indirect messages, and you don't try to show her what she lost. Because if she knows you still care, then she still has influence over you. If her actions or her silence can still affect your mood, then she still controls part of your world. A stoic man takes that control back. He stops checking, stops asking, stops wondering. He reclaims his mind. And here's what most people don't realize. Attention feeds the ego, but indifference slowly destroys it. When she can no longer feel your presence emotionally, when your energy is completely withdrawn, that's when the questions begin to rise in her mind. That's when the balance starts to shift. You also need to learn how to master the void instead of fearing it. Most men treat silence like something temporary, something to survive until she comes back or reaches out. But that mindset keeps you weak. A stoic man doesn't wait in silence. He uses it. Because the void is where real transformation begins. When there are no distractions, no validation, and no noise, you are left alone with yourself. And that's where growth happens. While she may be distracting herself with attention or trying to move on quickly, you go inward. You build discipline, you sharpen your focus, and you become more aware of who you are. The man who becomes comfortable in solitude becomes powerful beyond measure. Mastering the void means you stop focusing on her and start focusing on your evolution. You move differently, you think differently, and you grow in silence until one day the results speak louder than anything you could have said. Another key shift is understanding the power of the mirror effect. You don't impact her by explaining yourself or trying to make her understand your pain. Most men make that mistake. They send long messages. They try to express everything they feel, hoping for closure. But that only feeds her ego. True power comes from silence. When you stop reacting and start reflecting her energy back at her, something changes. Without your attention, without your emotional responses, she is left alone with her own decisions. You become a reflection of her actions, not through words, but through absence. This forces her to confront the reality of what she did. And you didn't need to argue. You didn't need to prove anything. You simply became the consequence of her choices. To take it even further, you must withdraw all validation completely. Ego survives on attention, and even after leaving, she might still check on you in small ways. A like, a view, or a random message. Many men mistake this for care, but it's often about control. And this is where many lose their strength. They respond, they try to show growth, they try to prove something. But every reaction gives her power. A Stoic man understands that attention is valuable, and he stops giving it away freely. When you remove your validation entirely, when your energy is no longer available to her, that's when her ego starts to weaken. Because nothing hits harder than becoming irrelevant to someone you once controlled. At the same time, you need to transform your pain into something productive. The pain you feel is not just suffering, it's raw energy. You can let it destroy you, or you can use it to build yourself. Most men sit in their pain and replay the past, but a Stoic man asks a different question. What can I become from this? You take that pain and channel it into discipline. You work harder, you think clearer, and you become stronger mentally and physically. Not for her, but for yourself. And through that process, you evolve into someone she never expected. Someone she can no longer reach. As you grow, you naturally become a man who is difficult to replace. At first, she may think you're just another person she can move on from easily. But your transformation changes that reality. You don't need to compete or prove anything. You become focused, grounded, and self-controlled. Most people chase validation, but when you stop needing it, you become rare. And the rare cannot be replaced. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming who you were always capable of being. All of this happens quietly. Real transformation doesn't need an audience. You don't need to post your progress or seek approval. You build in silence. While others perform for attention, you focus on real change. And when that change is genuine, it becomes visible without effort. That's when people start to notice, including her, but by then it no longer matters to you. Eventually, you reach a point where you don't need to hide or block her. You simply continue your life. You let her observe from a distance she cannot cross. Not to impress her, but because that's your reality now. And when she sees your growth without having access to it, that's when it truly hits. Not because you tried to show her, but because she realizes she is no longer part of your world. The final step is forgiveness, not for her, but for yourself. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's released. Holding on to anger keeps you tied to the past, but letting go frees you completely. A Stoic man chooses to forgive because he refuses to let past experiences control his present. When you reach that level, you are no longer affected, and that is true power. At the end of it all, you realize something important. This was never really about her. It was about you remembering who you are. You stop chasing, you stop explaining, and you start living with purpose. You move forward with discipline, clarity, and self-respect. You don't need validation, you don't need closure, and you don't need to be chosen by anyone else because you've already chosen yourself. You're not broken, you're rebuilt. And the truth is simple, she didn't lose you when she walked away. She lost you when you became someone she can never reach again.